Hey, Trailblazers, we have some exciting news here at the Trailblazing Texas podcast. We have partnered up with HillTop Packs, not just because they make amazing ultralight gear, but because they're a small family run business doing huge things for our hiking and backpacking community. Every food bag, dry sack, fanny pack that you order can be completely customized. Print your trail name, your dog's face, your favorite mountain, or really whatever inspires you. When you shop at HillTop Packs, you're not only buying gear that you're absolutely going to love, but you're supporting real families, real jobs, and small town craftsmanship. So head over to hilltoppacks.com and use code TTP10 to get 10% off of your order. Now on with the episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas podcast, where we embark on a journey through our diverse Texas landscapes and breathtaking trails while always engaging with our amazing Texas hiking community. So settle in, tighten up those bootlaces, and get ready for the thrilling tales awaiting for you on this episode. Welcome to the Trailblazing Texas podcast. I'm your host, Jason. And before I announce our next guest, I need all listeners sit down. I need you guys, if you're driving, to pull over to the side of the road. Remove all sharp objects from your hands, because when I announce this next guest, the excitement that you're going to have, I don't want to be blamed for you hurting yourself. So I'm just going to give you a second to just get situated where you can handle this information. All right, now, before I let you know who our next guest is, I'm going to give you some hints and see, if you can guess. So as this episode airs, I want you to put in the comments, did you get it right or not? So first hint, this person is the owner of one of the best gear companies out there. The next hint is customized gear. And the final hint is Waynesburg, Pennsylvania. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds to kind of think about that. Hopefully, because, and as soon as I say the guess, you're going to say, yep, you're absolutely right, Jason. Coming to us all the way from Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, the one and only, the owner of HillTop Packs, Ben, welcome to the podcast.
That's a pretty big introduction. I think hopefully I don't disappoint anybody.
Oh, you won't, for sure. So, kind of as we always get started, I want to give you an opportunity to promote your social media, websites, like different brands of HillTop Packs. Like I know you guys are into coffee. So just, take a few minutes and just let the listeners know, like, kind of like everything that you represent, and then for sure your social media outlets.
Good. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate your time and the exposure to your audience. My name is Ben McMillan. I started HillTop Packs back in 2019, and we quickly grew into the business that we are today. And through that ride, we've actually branched out into a couple other things. We branched out into coffee back in 2023. So we have a coffee roastery that roasts coffee. That has since also spawned a coffee shop. If you're nearby, come by and check out RGB Coffee, which is just a mile away. In the middle of all that, we also started Apex Giant, which does backpacking gear as well, but it's mostly metal stuff, titanium, aluminum, like trowels and little trinkets like the dog bone and speed hangers and things like that. So my whole life I've always been involved in different businesses. I've been self-employed my whole life, but the last 5 years I've really, really enjoyed the backpacking space. And anything I do in the future is going to be kind of probably guided through those channels in some way. I've just really found that the audience and the customers and the friends of the backpacking community, they're just different. And you guys go backpacking with friends, and I'm sure you sense that. It's just different. Even new people that you never met before, you meet them on trail, and there's different. I have other hobbies, like I fly RC airplanes and I ride motorcycles and I golf sometimes, not very good, by the way. And some of these people, no, can I swear on this channel? They're not very nice. Yeah, they're assholes. But in the backpacking community, it's like we all have a common reason for being there. Very supportive, very appreciative of what we're all going through and all doing on that journey, whether it's a 10-mile trip or a 3-mile trip. We're all going through that same thing. And so that's my spiel. You can check us out on pretty much any social media outlet. HillTop Packs, pretty much everywhere: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We don't know what we're doing half the time, but we post a lot of content. Follow along. We pull the curtains back. It's just us. No fancy marketing team or anything. But yeah, join along for the ride.
So, to the listeners, there's a couple of things that I need to get off my chest. If you're not already following Hilltop Packs, you are missing out. It is absolutely some of the best content on social media. If you're having a bad day, it's going to make you laugh. If you need to learn something, it's going to educate you. And Ben, as we were talking before the podcast, thinking about this podcast, putting together some of the questions that we're actually about to get into, I started getting emotional. I started having tears in my eyes, thinking about you as a business owner, as a father, as a husband, the risk that you take upon yourself to support your family and your community, even our hiking community, the stress, the responsibility. Yeah, it really hit me. And I can tell you, as I said, your content is some of the best out there. And the absolutely reason why, and I know the listeners, they know about Hilltop Packs, and I definitely hope that they're following you, but you quickly see that you guys are real family people. And I don't know if you kind of just look at all the content out there that you get that really from anybody. That's really the main reason that you hooked me at the very beginning of Hilltop Packs. And one of the main reasons why I wanted you on the podcast is, I mean, just I want to do everything possible to support and promote you guys. Yeah, I mean, it's you guys are doing the right thing.
I appreciate you saying all that. That's a lot to take in. And, I am weirdly accustomed and enjoy the stress of all that for myself. I like how crazy things get. I like the chaos of it all. The times when I get kind of emotional is when I think about my employees and my family, what they go through watching me do it, because it is a big risk and I am willing to take that risk. And sometimes I get caught up in it and I forget that there's people involved that will be affected by this if I fail. That adds extra stress, which again, I oddly enjoy, but even that puts on more stress on them watching me go through it. Um, if you know our company, we're going through a little bit of a downturn at the moment. I'm very open about that. It's mostly the business to business side and the wholesale side. And instead of laying people off, I really want to find ways to keep some of the people working. And again, that's when I get emotional, get all caught up in it. Again, I strangely enjoy that pressure, and I don't always know how to figure it out. But reaching out to the community was, we made this video. It was one of the best things I ever did. We had so many customers reaching out to us and saying so many nice things. And we live in a bubble in this little Greene County, Waynesburg, Pennsylvania area that, there's no trails anywhere near us. And having people reach out to me was crazy. There's big companies that reach. I wish I could say their names. Several large companies that did not even know we were on the radar. They reached out, and I was emotional just on the phone, just hearing them talk about how they knew who we were, and they talked about the videos, how they talked about our employees, and they could see them, and that was a lot to take in. And it was just, the last week has definitely been an emotional roller coaster, not because of the pressure that I'm under to create more work. It's watching people around me worry, am I going to figure it out? I know I'm going to figure it out. I will figure it out. But I worry that they're going through stress as I figure it out. And that's where I get really caught up in it. But it's been awesome having people reach out, even if it's just a brainstorming session. Small companies, big companies, smaller companies had no reason to even reach out to me. They had, but they did. And that's the community part of this backpacking thing we're in that just amazes me. And I didn't really realize that until really the last couple of months, and how everybody's reached out to offer to help us. Even again, just brainstorming, even just offer some advice or saying, hey, here's how I see your company. You're doing the right thing. You just got to push a little harder. And
Yeah.
it's been phenomenal. And people like yourself willing to put us on your podcast. I mean, that means the world to us. We couldn't do it without people, sharing our stuff and putting us out there. And so, I thank you. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. Hey, it's like you said, we're all here to support each other. You made a video, and it was funny because you said in the video that there wasn't any hiking around you. So I quickly learned doing the podcast that most experienced hikers use all trails not for anything else but just to search and find trails. So you can filter 30-mile loop in Idaho or whatever. Well, I don't use all trails at all. And so I was like, "What? You guys use it?" Absolutely. It's their go-to for
Yeah,
researching trails.
that's what we use.
And I put in Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, and there wasn't nothing.
Nothing. We have a trail that goes through our county. It's about 70 miles. It's largely unmarked and it's mostly road walking, but it is a old Indian trail that goes along these ridges through our county. And so I've done it a few times, but I always mess up because there's no real map for it. There's no digital trail for it anywhere. There's not on all trails. So we keep messing up. My buddy and mine, we've done it a few times, and every time we go way off track. So I don't know how I'm going to finish that. I may have finished. I don't even know. Maybe I did. I don't know. So we have to go hours to find any place where you can actually set up a tent and spend the night.
Yeah. Nice. Oh man. So yeah. So I was like, "There's no way," and yeah, I did a search, and sure enough, there's nothing around you. So that was kind of
Nope.
funny. Before we jump into the podcast, I don't know about you. I'm old. I'm in my 50s. I have
52.
not. Yeah. Hey, that's how old I am. I have not been in the podcast studio for about 2 weeks. I've been on vacations. Making sure the wife's happy. So I need to warm up. And there is a segment that I usually do at the end of the podcast called the lightning round. And I thought this would be a wonderful opportunity for me to warm up, you to warm up. It's just as it says, it's, you know, short, fast, first word that pops into your mind. And even if it's not lightning fast, through the power of edit, we're going to be moving at the speed of light.
There we go.
So, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Most chaotic day ever in the shop.
Oh, usually like around the holidays, Black Friday.
Black Friday. All right. Weirdest customer request you fulfilled.
Oh, oh man. So listen, we print a lot of man butts, and usually Christian has to deal with it. I can walk away. Christian prints a lot of man butts, guys standing on mountains showing off their butt. So yeah, there's that.
Okay. Got it. Got it. All right. A product you loved, but no one else seemed to get it.
Oh, there's so many. I've done that a lot. Our wallets. Listen, we sell a lot of our wallets, but I love the wallets we make. And unless you get your hands on it, people don't really understand it until you touch it. If you touch it, you usually buy it. So I wish that thing had more hands-on reviews because it's great product and yeah.
All right. So, if you could step back and look at this Hilltop Packs journey, what is one message that you would like to leave to your wife and kids?
Oh man, uh, that's a big one. That's not a lightning round question. That's a that's a that's a big one. I've always wanted my kids to see me just go after things that make me happy.
Yeah.
I've never really chased money. I don't chase things. Maybe motorcycles I chase. But other than that, I mean, I just follow things that I'm interested in. Constantly curious. I don't want to, be content with just anything. And again, money's never been the motivator. It's just I'm a curious person, and I want to be happy, and I want my kids and my family to see I'm going after something that makes me happy, and I want them to do the same thing.
Nice. Most unexpected piece of gear that became a top seller.
Let's see. The dog bone, without a doubt. I thought it was like a simple little thing that only I was going to use. If you're familiar with the dog bone, I used to use a washer for my bear bag hangs. And the way I would do is loop the cord through the middle of the washer, loop it around, and that would be the catch for the carabiner. And I was like, well, I'm going to design something. I don't know if it'll work or not. And I designed it in the shape of a dog bone. So it had like a gimmicky name. And then we released it, and everybody crapped on it. It was like I had so many negative comments, like you should learn how. If you can't tie a knot, you shouldn't be in the woods. But then people started buying it. People started putting their videos, and now we sell thousands a month. We sell so many of those things. So I did not think it'd be a big hit. I knew it was very useful because there's no knots involved at all. And it ended up being a massive hit. We sell thousands.
All right. What is your backup career if all the fabric disappeared tomorrow?
Okay, so I've been self-employed my entire life. I've never really had a real job. I don't think I'm qualified for anything else. I have no idea what I would do. Probably just take all my backpacking equipment and go for a long hike and just never come back.
All right. Design first or function first?
Ooh, I like simple designs, but it's got to be functional, of course. I want to strip it down to where it's almost nothing, and that way it's going to be the lightest. It's going to have less opportunity to fail. So they kind of go hand in hand. It's got to be functional, but there's got to be it's just some very simple design properties to it because I want to keep it simple.
Do you cringe when you see someone abuse your gear on YouTube?
Nope. Nope. I'd say go use it, man. You're paying top dollar. If you mess it up, we'll replace it. Even if you screwed up yourself. We have a pretty generous 5-year warranty, and we don't ask too many questions. We may want to know what happened just in case we can strengthen part of the product up a little bit. But sometimes we're just curious what happened. But no, go use it, man. Get out there and use your stuff.
Favorite work playlist, podcast, music, or silence?
I listen to podcasts all the time and YouTube videos. I weirdly do like trip videos. I like the trip videos that do like a lot of voiceovers. I listen to that all day long. Out in the other room, they listen to movies and podcasts, all the ladies and Christian either side. But I myself, I'm mostly a YouTube person. So I like people send me YouTube links. But it's got to have a lot of dialogue because I'm usually listening and not so much watching.
If HillTop Packs had a mascot, what would it be?
Oh, the bear. For sure. The very first thing we ever did was we printed a bear. We just updated to a bear that's a version 2 of the bear. We had a redesign of the bear just as something a little refresh after 5 years. Yeah, definitely the bear.
What is your official or unofficial company motto?
As far as advertising, it's show the thing. Just we want to show off our products. We don't want you to feel like you need to buy anything. We want you to want it. And our motto is just show the thing. So we walk around just showing what we're doing, showing how we're making it, show how it's used, show how it's customized. That's our motto is just show the thing.
Nice. How many emails do you answer before your first cup of coffee?
Oh, none. I have to have a cup of coffee first. Yeah. Yeah. I usually do a little bit of email in the morning before I even leave for work. I do here in my house as I'm in my little office right now at home. I'll do a little bit here if it's anything pressing. And then when for actual stuff for the shop and for customers, I do that at the shop. But usually any kind of business to business stuff or stuff like this, I try to do early in the morning, like our conversations through email. I'll try to do this in the morning or at night. But yeah, coffee first, man. Definitely.
All right. So again, this is another pretty serious question, and it's like the one that we talked about with your wife and your kids. Again, if you could step back and look at this whole journey at HillTop Packs, what is the one message that you would leave with your employees, both past and present?
Just go after things. Go after what makes you happy. I try to create an environment where, listen, they're sewers. It's a print shop, and we do a lot of things. They're not brain surgeons, so I can't afford to pay brain surgery salaries. We do the best we can for sure, but I want them to be happy. So we're as flexible as we possibly can with timelines and with their work schedules. And they come. There's no one's ever late because there's no set time. People they can bring their kids to work. I want them to, no matter what they do moving forward in life, whether it's for me or someone else, just create a good work environment for themselves, for the coworkers, because that's where you're spending so much of your time. And I want them to just be happy. We got to work, we got to produce. But if I could leave a message for any of them moving forward, is just find a job that respects and understands how valuable your time is, even at work. And we do.
Nice. One thing you wished every customer knew before ordering.
That it's just us. It's simple. And that's why we make all of our videos and photos. What we do, I want people to know it is just us, because you're not just buying a product, because you can buy it anywhere. You're also buying a story. There's a story behind that piece of gear you're buying. And maybe you talk about the photos, maybe you talk about the videos, or that Annie made it. We always stamp the order with who made that product, who made that order. If there's two or three different people involved, they all stamp it. So that's what I want customers to know before they order, is this is who you're investing in. It's us. We created jobs, and we're building our little community in our little town here. And that's what I want them to know. That's a long answer. Sorry.
No, absolutely. I love it. So, what's harder, gear testing or website updates?
Well, you would think that I would be able to get out more and do more gear testing, but it's difficult. You think you open a business, you get to go camping whenever you want. It's just not how it works. I backpack less now than I did before I started Hilltop. I get to go out maybe 4 times a year. I do a lot of day hiking. I do get to do a lot of that, and usually I'll take a pack out and just see how the pressure points are setting, things like that. I don't know if that's the answer you were looking for, but there you go.
What is your guilty pleasure piece of gear you'd never admit to carrying, but you do?
Oh, my fanny pack. Like I would have never told anyone I was carrying a fanny pack. And my goal was to figure out a way to design a fanny pack that would not be embarrassed to use. I'm 52 years old. You're the same age. You talk about wearing a fanny pack. You're like, ain't no way I'm wearing a fanny pack. I'm a
Yeah.
guy. I'm not doing it. So it's like, I was determined to design a fanny pack that did not look like a fanny pack. And so ever since we did that, it's a roll top design. You can roll it down to almost nothing if you have nothing in it. And man, it is so, I don't use side pockets anymore. I just use that. And it's awesome. But I don't talk about it a lot because it's a fanny pack.
Mine's a camp chair.
I only bring a camp chair whenever my friends are bringing one. And I always ask, is everybody bringing a camp chair? Because if not, if no one else is bringing it, I ain't bringing it. When I go by myself, I rarely take one. I just want to get out there, take pictures, and enjoy myself. And I usually don't sit around for very long.
Nice. So, what is your personal backpack model and why do you use it?
My backpack. So I use my Raven. I think it's a Raven 45 in the wintertime. And I have a Dirty 30 that I use in the summertime. It's like a 33-liter pack. Or I use a 35-liter Raven that I designed as well. The pack I used on the last 3 trips this year was a Raven 35-liter custom printed. It's a prototype. We're using some different fabrics on it. Just wanted to try it out. So far, it's been holding up pretty good. But yeah, that's it. A Dirty 30 and the Raven. For day hikes, I use it 24/7.
All right. One piece of gear that you made yourself that is always in your pack.
Well, I've pretty much made everything, so I take everything with me on every trip. Yeah, so I would like to eventually make my own like tent or tarp or some version that just for me. I don't think I'm going to ever make them for the public, but I would like to maybe add that in there at some point. So,
Yeah. Any piece of gear you still carry, even though you know it's totally unnecessary.
hmm, what do I carry that's unnecessary? I always carry an extra headlamp like a dummy. I know I don't need it. I have an extra head. I don't tell anybody about it. It's in my med kit. It's buried in my med
Yeah.
kit just in case I need it. So you have a light on your phone. I have a light that goes inside my tent. Like I have plenty of light. Why am I carrying an extra headlamp? I don't know, but I do.
All right. Trail snacks. Are you a minimalist or the full snack lord?
I'm not a big, huge eater. I'm one of those guys that I get less hungry when I'm hiking. I have to like force myself to eat. So I keep it simple. The snacks, it's like nuts, some gummy snacks, things like that with some flavor in it. But I'm not a big food guy. I mean, I eat, of course. I'm a big guy, but just simple dehydrated meals. I don't get too crazy unless I'm hiking with the guys in Kentucky. They bring steaks, and then I got to eat a steak on the trail, which is great too. But I'm pretty simple.
All right. An emergency piece of gear that you carry, but you hope you never will have to use.
Hmm. For some reason, I still carry this little mirror that I'm supposed to, you know, I don't know
Yep.
why it's in my med kit or
The
emergency kit, whatever.
plane, the
Yeah.
plane.
Am I really gonna, attract a plane with this little tiny little mirror? No. But I have it. Why am I carrying it? I have no idea. But it's still in there.
There was, I think it's episode 11 and 12. One of my favorite episodes was a lost hiker at Guadalupe Mountains, and he was lost for 5 days and almost 4 days with no water. And yeah, we talked about that. Like if he didn't have a phone charger, the gentleman he's in, Mr. Barry's in his 70s, and he didn't have anything. And so we were talking about some of the emergency gear that that probably he should have taken, and we even brought up because the helicopters were going by him, but they
Yeah.
just couldn't see him.
Couldn't see.
So
Yeah, we
yeah,
actually
so
we a couple years ago we found 2 lost hikers. I made a
oh
video on it
wow,
years this before actually right after Hilltop started. That was a pretty wild experience. We were about 9 miles deep, late at night, and they walked into our camp. These 2 ladies, they had nothing. It was wild. That's another episode. We can talk about that.
absolutely. All right, one item in your backpack that you think every beginner hiker backpacker should carry.
Hmm, that's tough. Um, hmm. I wrote on it. I'm trowel. I mean, I don't have a very good answer for that one. You got to have a
Trout,
trowel. Got to have a trowel.
dirt diggler.
They're digging. The new
Yeah,
one just came. We have a new one that just came out. Or Dig and
I
Rip.
saw that.
Yeah, I think I'm switching myself to the new one.
All right, nice. I need to order one of those. All right, fill in the blank. If you had a dime for every time you poked yourself with a needle sewing, you could buy what?
I could buy HillTop Packs. That's definitely, and did it more when I sewed at home. We had just regular home machines. Oh, that would happen all the
Yeah.
time. A needle would get off skewed and kind of bend or whatever, pop out and fly at you, hit you in the face. And with the commercial ones, we have guards on them, so it doesn't happen as much anymore.
Second to last question. I'm really feeling warmed up now. So this has been the right ordering. What has been your proudest moment to date as a small business owner towards your employees?
We a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, we hit 50,000 orders since we started the company. And seeing everybody how proud they were of that number, because I mean, we have the same staff. We don't have a high turnover. We have the same people from the very beginning. Everybody that hired early on. That we have a core group of like 5 people besides myself and my wife, and those core 5 people have been there from very early on. And of course, we have other people we've hired. There've been part timers and flex workers and things like that. And but hitting that 50,000 order mark and seeing those employees how proud they were of that, and they're the ones that caught it. Like we talked about it like about a month before.
Yeah.
I missed it when it happened. They all went crazy, and just watching how excited they were because they get the credit. We put them again. We put them in the photos, put them in the videos, so they feel like they're responsible for the success of this company. That's what I want them to feel like. So to see them actually enjoy it, enjoy that moment, that was really cool.
All right. Last question. This is actually a bonus question. And if you get it right, the podcast will continue. If you get it wrong, the podcast will end.
Oh boy.
What is your favorite Texas hiking podcast?
Oh, it's the Texas. What was it called? Texas. Oh man, you caught me off guard. Was Texas?
Trailblazing Texas
Yeah,
podcast.
Trailblazing Texas podcast. There you go.
Yes, you nailed it.
Oh man, I should have it on the screen over here. I wrote down Jason on my notes. I wouldn't forget your name. I forgot to write down the name of the podcast.
Hey, it's amazing that every guest that I ask that question to, they all get it right, and that's just so heartwarming. All right, so now let's jump into the episode. So before we get into all the wonderful things at Hilltop Packs, kind of want to just touch on you as a hiker backpacker. So are you a hiker first, a gear nerd first, or a bit of both?
So I started off just day hiking. I've hiked my whole life, and I got into backpacking probably around 2016 ish, somewhere around there. And and I was I am a photographer. I've been a photographer for since 2002 or something like that. And so I started with that kind of gear. I like photography gear, and I was looking for ways to get my camera gear out there farther into the woods. So by nature, I am kind of a gear nerd, and I bought a bunch of stuff. I bought a bunch of Z Packs gear, and I started looking at the gear. And I've always had a sewing machine at my house. I was like, well, I can make some of that stuff. So I definitely got really into the gear, but on the side of where I wanted to make it. I saw what Z Packs had done for me about as far as making my pack lighter, and the backpack was light, and the stuff sacks and dry bags. I'm like, but I'm also a maker. I'm also someone who enjoys creating things, and my sewing machine's actually still right there. And I've always
Mm.
had a sewing room in my house, and it just kind of like, so yes, I'm probably a gear guy, but when it comes to backpacking, I'm more of a maker. I like making what I'm using out there.
All right. Do you remember your first real official backpacking or serious hiking trip? And then what pulled you into the outdoors?
I remember it very well. So I started buying gear probably 2015, 2016. It was about a year's a lead up to my first real trip. And I've been doing some day trips, but I wanted to go like for a backpacking trip for like 3 days. And I could not get any of my friends to go with me. And I'm still just accumulating gear. I'm watching YouTube videos, and I'm taking notes. I'm like, okay, it's gonna be an epic trip. I'm gonna go out there and take photos. But again, I couldn't get anybody to go with me. And I finally just got fed up with it one day, and I said, you know what? I'm just gonna drive down to Dolly Sods in West Virginia, and I've been there many times on day hikes. And so I'm just going to go out hike as far as I can. I think it was like 7 to 9 miles in that range, and I'm just going to sit there until it gets dark. And I'm just going to force myself to go by myself. And I was kind of scared of the dark, probably why I have 8 light sources in my bag. So I sat there, and it just got darker and darker, and it was a little creepy at first, but then it wasn't so bad. But my first trip, I just spent so much time thinking and worrying about going by myself, and now I go by myself all the time. It's my favorite thing to do. So
Yeah. Speaking of dark, So we have the longest trail in Texas. It's called the Lone Star Hiking Trail. It's 128 miles, and it's if you did all the loops, it's 96.4 if you just kind of hike the main trail. But both endpoints are about an hour north of my house. And I think it was 3 years ago, I took three friends with me to through hike it, and they were not hikers and backpackers. So as you can imagine, we're starting at 4 in the morning. It's pitch black dark, and I'm probably most of the time a little bit ahead of them, and I could always see their night lights. And I guess they had stopped, and I kept going and didn't realize it, but I couldn't see their headlamps anymore. So was sitting on my backpack, and just for shits and giggles, I turned off my headlamp. Probably about 30 seconds after I turned off my headlamp, it was pitch black dark. There was footsteps right behind me. And it wasn't like a deer or a hog. It was like it had to have been like human footsteps. Man, I turned my light back on, picked up my
Heck.
backpack, and I sprinted probably about a half a mile back to them. But
Oh yeah.
oh, I'm petrified of getting out in the dark. And I wanted to, there's a friend of mine, we wanted to try to do the Lone Star Hiking Trail in 2 days, but, stuff kind of didn't happen. And then I was going to try to go do it, but, starting you're hiking, you're not really stopping, and at nighttime, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that alone. So yeah, I'm petrified of the night.
Yeah, and I did a nighttime trip one time. So about 2 years ago, I was trying to get out a couple weeks in a row, and it wasn't working out. And again, trying to go with some friends. And finally, I said, you know what, just screw it. I'm going to go. And this was like 7 o'clock at night in the middle of the winter, so it's already dark. And I was like, I'm just going to go. My wife's like, you're going to go backpacking right now? I was like, yeah. I said, there's a trail about an hour away. I can hike in 3 miles. She's like, there's snow on the ground and it's dark. I was like, it's easier to see. This is how I was justifying it. It's easier to see
Yeah.
when there's snow on the ground at nighttime. And so I have a video of it. I literally drove there in the middle of the night, and maybe eight or nine at night, whatever it was. Hiked in at night, about 3 miles, set up camp. But it ended up being the worst experience ever because first of all, I love snow. I love backpacking in the snow. I didn't plan for the weather. I didn't check the weather. I just went. When I woke up the next morning, it was like 40 degrees and raining. And here I am 3 miles deep, which isn't far. But now I have to break down
Yeah.
camp in the freezing rain. All the snow is melting. It's just gross and disgusting. I was so mad at myself. It was such a dumb idea. Cool video, but it was dumb.
Yeah. So I know we kind of touched on it a second ago, but how often do you get out on the trail these days?
I try to do 4 trips a year where I'm like at least do overnights. But as far as hiking, every couple weeks I go out and do a couple miles, do something. Usually it's to take some pictures. I'll go out there and take some photos or quick little videos or something like that. We mostly focus our content on shop photos and videos, but I do try to get some stuff out on the trail.
Hmm.
So I'd like to do more hikes. Tim, who is our creative content video guy who lived in um, Grand Canyon, who's moving here within a few weeks. So we're gonna be able to do some more trips together. It'd be more of a reason to get out there because again, there's no one around me that really backpacks that much. We're
Yeah.
just so far secluded from any other trails around here. If there were trails close by, there'd be more hikers. I'd probably have more hiking friends, but for the most part, I have to go by myself until Tim gets here.
I'll tell you what, I have a goal that every guest on the podcast, eventually before I die, I'm going to hike with them. So
Let's do it.
you'll have a hiking partner and a friend, hopefully one of these days.
Well,
Texas.
Tim, who's coming here, he lived in Texas last year. He was at Big Bend. That's where he was at the
Okay.
national park. He worked there last year, and so I know he's hiked all through that, and he loved it. So I wouldn't mind going back down there. So well, maybe we'll fly down and do a trip with you.
Let me know. And I'd like to consider myself an expert to the black sheep of the national park family in Texas is Guadalupe Mountains. I just had my 23rd trip there. And
Nice.
so like, Big Bend is of course the most popular national park in Texas, but I'm and so you get the crowds and stuff, but man, I'm a Guadalupe Mountain. There's B-24 plane crash. There's
Oh
old
wow,
Indian graves that I found. I even have the west facing ridge line tattooed on
look at that.
my
There
arm.
you go.
Yep, from a picture I took.
Very cool.
So all you got to do is say, Jason, it's time, and I'm all over it.
It's going to happen. It will happen then for sure. For sure. It's
Nice.
definitely, and like I said, Tim and I because he's gonna start working for Hilltop full time. He's only worked part time for the last 3 years. Now he's gonna work full time, and part of that is a couple trips a year where we travel someplace, and we'll
Yeah.
gladly come down there. It'd be so cool to do that.
Oh, absolutely. All right. So I guess we kind of talked about it, but so you would say when you get out, it's mostly currently right now day hikes versus overnighters.
Yeah, I did just do an overnighter down in Arkansas. I drove down there, which was took me 2 days to get there. That was an ordeal. I tried to fly down and didn't have the real ID, so I couldn't fly. I had to rent a car. I drove all the way to Arkansas, and we spent 4 days on the trail. And again, 2 days to drive down. I drove all the way back in one shot. It took me 23 hours to drive home. That was an ordeal.
Jeez.
I was so tired for a week after that. But anyway, the trip was pretty awesome. There's like 9 or 10 of us that went. And I was a little bit out of shape. It was 95 degrees the whole time, but we got to go swimming every day. Like we were along this river called the Little Missouri River, and it was amazing. It was just the water was crystal clear, beautiful. It was just hot and gross the whole time. I never smelled so bad in my life. I don't know how through hikers do it, but it was a really cool trip. So I got to do that. Before that, I did a trip in late spring, and then before that, I did one in November. So yeah, I'm about on par for my 4 backpacking trips a year.
Has being in the gear business changed the way you hike or how you approach hiking or trail?
Yes, I think before, and I hate to say that I care less. I used to really be just like a just geek out on every little thing and just weigh everything and really focus on getting down as low as I can. I was hyper focused on going as light as humanly possible. And now I'm like, I already know about what everything weighs. I don't even weigh my bag anymore because I kind of know about what things are. So I kind of haphazardly just throw stuff in, and that's when I forget stuff. So I shouldn't do that. But I forget tent stakes all the time, which is so stupid. When I went to Arkansas, I took one trekking pole. I forgot one of my trekking poles somewhere. I still don't know where that's at.
Oh
So
my
I
gosh.
don't the way I hike now is not as good as I used to be. I think I enjoy myself more because I stress about it less. And there's a better
Right.
story because I forgot something stupid. Yeah. So yeah, that's changed. I feel like I know now how to do it, and I clearly don't know how to do it now. I keep screwing up. Yeah.
Right. Oh,
False sense of
nice.
security.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, and like when so it takes me about 10 hours to get out to the quads, and I'll leave like on a Thursday night, get there Friday morning, then come home Sunday. But I go through my pack 3 or 4 times because I can't be out there and like have afford to forget something because there is nothing out there, and usually the ground that you're trying to all my tents are trekking pole tents, so yeah, you're in a lot of trouble if.
Mine are too. So, but here's where I run into trouble. So I have these big tubs in my garage, and when I come
Mhm.
home, I dump my whole bag in that tub, and then I may pull some clothes on, and go wash it. So everything stays in that tub that I know I need. Then I just repack it when I go leave, and I know I got to put new socks in, new shirts, whatever. So I know the minimal things I got to throw in there. Maybe check my medications. I do that real quick. But the things I forget about is like, oh, 2 months ago I went and did a photo shoot on a trail for Hilltop, and I took out whatever out of my bag, and I forgot to put it back in. Oh, I don't have a toiletry kit. Oh, that's not good. That's not going to go well.
Oh,
Been there.
man. Yep.
So I forgot my sleeping pad. So I let someone borrow my winter sleeping pad. And I did a backpacking trip in the wintertime with no sleeping pad. Talk about awful.
Oh
That
my
was terrible.
gosh.
Yeah. So I had basically used my backpack. Luckily, the temperatures weren't terrible. I don't even think there was snow on the ground at that time, but it was winter. And so I put my backpack underneath of me. Anything I could kind of scrounge up was like underneath the core part of my body. And I had my pillow so that my head was off the ground, and I had plenty of clothes because it's wintertime. So it wasn't. It was definitely cold, and it definitely sucked the life out of me. But I didn't feel like I was in any real danger. I would have left for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I've forgotten pretty much everything at this point.
You need a checklist.
And here's the really crappy part. I don't know if you know this. I just recently wrote a book, and it's finished right now. The editors just finished the final edit, and I even had the cover just got done. And it's right here on my screen. It's called 268 Mistakes Hikers Make. So I wrote a book like I'm the authority on this stuff, and I make all the mistakes in the book.
Yeah, but that's how you're the expert now because you've been there, done that.
That's it. That's it.
You
Just
don't ever learn if you don't make a mistake.
research. I call it
Yeah.
research. Yeah. I'll send you a
So
copy.
when is it coming out? I'll definitely buy it.
So I finished it a few weeks ago. I have two editors proofing it. The first editor sent the final copy back for his final version, and I have one more editor looking at it. And once I compare the two, they'll go to one more final edit, and it possibly by the next week it might go to print. I just got the cover back. I had an illustrator build the cover. The cover is so cool. I'm looking at it right now. I wish
Wow.
I could. I'll send it to you by email.
Yeah.
But the cover is really cool. It's got a picture of a hiker like with his head down, his tent's on fire. There's a bear wearing a headlamp. There's a skunk reading a map. No, skunk's eating trash, and there's a raccoon reading a map. It's an awesome cover. And I just did a mock up in AI and sent it to her and said, "Here, this is what I want." And I thought mine was
Yeah.
pretty cool. Hers knocks out of the park. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen.
Really?
I'll send it to you. It is really
So
cool.
what's the name of the book?
268 mistakes hikers make, and then at the bottom it says, "And how to avoid looking like a total newbie in the woods." Yeah.
You have to let me know when it's on sale so I can definitely let the listeners know
Yeah,
for sure and
absolutely. I
share that.
appreciate it. Yeah, hopefully within a few weeks.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
It's been a few years in the making. I've written a few things for our local newspapers going back, excuse me, about 8 years. I'm not a writer. I just enjoy getting my thoughts out when something hits me. And so I've run three different papers locally I've written for, and I obviously read a lot of blog posts and over the years. And so I started compiling all these things I've written in the backpacking space. And I was like, I'm going to turn this into a book one day, but it's like an idea that you have, or like maybe a dream or a pipe dream that you're never really going
Yeah.
to do. On my drive back from Arkansas, a 23-hour drive a few weeks ago, is the trip where it started kind of all coming together. I was basically, it's, during the trip, I started thinking stuff and taking notes. But on the drive home, I'm talking to my phone and I'm recording myself talking of all these ideas I have for different chapters. Now it's coming together. I want to do a book on mistakes. And I'm talking to it and I'm having it read it back to me and it's dictating what I'm saying. And then I'm talking to Chat GTP. I was like, okay, that sounds great, but move this over here, change this around, make that word sound better, make it readable. And I'm just, as I'm driving, I'm building just like the core parts of each chapter. So I built the header of like several chapters just on the drive home, and then I finished it when I got back. But having AI kind of helped me structure the book because I had all the content,
Right.
but having it structured into a numbered book from 200, from 1 to 268 was a daunting task. I didn't really know how I was going to do it, and just having, and I never wrote a book before, so having someone you can lean on who AI to say, hey, here's how you do it. Like, here's how you get it printed. Here's where you go to get the barcode. This is it. And here's how you get it illustrated. Here's how you get proofread. And like, it was just, it's like, if I'm going to do it, now I have the tools to actually do it. And on our website, and I've taken some of them down now, but on HillTop Packs website for years, we've been building these lists. It was like 10 mistakes hikers make, 50 mistakes hikers make, 100 mistakes hikers make, 37 mistakes. And I've been making those lists for 5 years. So I took them all down. So it wouldn't, all the content wouldn't be on there. And I think there's still one or two left. My goal is to repost each chapter by itself on my website, over time while the book is
Right.
actually
Right.
still out there too. So the old ones are coming down, putting the new ones up. So it's crazy that's turned into a book now, but I probably would not have done it if I couldn't talk my way through it using AI, which is pretty wild. But I have somewhat of a writing background and I've enjoyed it. But this was so much content. I couldn't do it in my brain how to put all that together. And it started to really work. And it was really cool.
What happens to me a lot of times is do these kinds of things. The beauty of it is you start to remember the times you made those mistakes and,
Yeah.
just great memories, how you got out of it. So yeah, that's awesome. And you definitely have to let me know the links and how we can order it and when it comes out, because I'll definitely share.
We'll do this too tonight before you go to bed. Send me a little short thing about like your worst mistake you ever made, and I'll put your podcast link in. Because at the very end, I have about maybe 20 friends that gave me like their worst mistake ever, and so that's been done for a while. But I still have time to put a few more in there. So send me a little link. Where you want me to link to? Did I already do this? I didn't do this to you, did I? Did I send it to you? Oh, I did. I just remember
Yep.
that I did because I had to ask you what link you wanted. Oh, geez.
Yep. Yep.
Listen, I'm not a I'm so screwed up. There's something wrong with me. It just hit me that we did talk about it.
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, so you are in there. You're definitely in
Yep.
there. I put you in
That's
that one too.
awesome.
You were just going with it. That's hilarious. You were just going with it.
I was going to let you know after the podcast. And so is it going to be a hardback?
It's a real book. But it's a soft cover book. It's 220 pages, so it's a nice, substantial little
Jeez.
book. Got the barcode on the back. It'll sell it
Yeah.
on it'll be on Amazon. We'll sell it through Hilltop. We'll sell it through a few different places.
All right. So if I order it on Hilltop, then you have to sign it.
Absolutely. No problem.
Actually, everybody in your company has to sign it.
We can do that too.
Awesome. All right. So if you look at hiking and backpacking, what is your favorite thing about it that has absolutely nothing to do with gear?
Just being able to think without my phone going off, the notifications, the constant notifications. Like I have a fancy Garmin watch that I bought years ago, thinking I want to be notified about every little thing. I shut that off almost immediately. So when I'm on the trail, you get to escape everything. So you get to be in your own thoughts and work through some problems that maybe it could be work related, it could be life, whatever it is. But that's my favorite thing is just working through, you know, things that during the day, I have so much stuff going on because I do own several businesses. I do have a lot going on. Most days, I'm a total disaster, as we just seen. I forget everything. I rely on my wife. My wife basically manages my entire life. I have a schedule. This is no lie. I have a calendar that my wife sets my schedule. I have read only access to my own calendar because I'll screw it up. She puts in there what I'm supposed to be doing every hour of the day. So when I get out there, everything just kind of goes away. Only thing I have to worry about is drinking water, eating some food, and walking that way. Hopefully, that's the right direction.
Yep. So I know we kind of talked about there's not a lot of hiking opportunities around you, but do you have kind of like your favorite go-to, maybe not trail, but secret spot where you can kind of escape and recharge?
Yeah. So there is actually it's not a backpacking trail, it's a hiking trail. It's 7 miles. It's 3.5 out, 3.5 back. And it's only like 20 minutes, 25 minutes from our shop. And hardly anyone ever goes out there. It is super flat. So you can go fast if you want. It goes along a creek. So you can go slow if you want. You can stop, take a little break if you want. It's nice and shaded in the summertime. So it's not too hot from the sun or anything. So if I want to go for a day hike, that's where I go. And then if I want to go for a backpacking trip, Dolly Sods is about 4 hours away from us. I could do that. If I'm taking some friends that are driving in to see Hilltop, there's another place. It's about an hour and a half, maybe just a little over an hour. And it's a nice, not too strenuous backpacking trip. You can go in just a few miles if you want to, or you can do like I think 14 miles if you feel like do the outside rim of it. So we have a few places, but just not a lot of variety. So I have my go-to places, but what outside of what I just mentioned, there's nothing else.
So now I want to kind of to move into Hilltop Packs. And I know, Ben, you've probably told this story 18 bazillion times. It's on your website. I've read it probably 2 billion times preparing for this episode, but just enlighten the listeners and myself to hear what is the story behind Hilltop Packs, and was there a specific moment on trail or a moment in life where it kind of sparked this idea and you're like, hey, man, I can do this?
Absolutely, and I do tell a story a lot, and so this it could have went the opposite direction, and Hilltop would have never even been a thing. So again, I've been self-employed my whole life. I've had several businesses throughout my life. I've had some really long businesses that I've had. We own a professional photo and video studio. We've had since 2002 ish. Still have it today. My wife actually runs that. So the backpacking thing, again, I've always made things. I've always sewn things. I used to be in paintball. I made my own paintball jacket and accessories. So when I got into backpacking, it was a no brainer to start making some own gear. But what the flashpoint was, or like the starting thing that really kicked it off, was I had posted some pictures of a food bag that I made, and we also owned our own print shop attached to our photography studio. So before I made the food bag, I printed a picture of a bear on it, like a waving bear. He was smiling, he's waving, just kind of a funny picture. And I just did it for me. I had zero intention of ever selling it. I would post up on Instagram and Facebook or whatever it was at the time, and then and Reddit. And so I posted these pictures out there of this food bag just because I thought it was funny. I did not need another job. Our photography studio is one of the busiest in the tri-state area. We do really well. We have 14 photographers. COVID screwed that up. That's another story. But so I posted the photo of the bag, and then people started messaging me about making them a bag with the bear on it. That was just something as simple as that. And then it was like, can you make something else? And I wasn't looking for another job. I was very busy as it was. And so mostly I said no to people, but if it was somebody that I knew in like the YouTube space, because I was on YouTube myself and had some friends on there, I would make the bags for them. And very quickly realized there's a business here. I just can't do it. So my oldest daughter was at Penn State at the time, and my other daughter was finishing up high school, and I sat them down and said, "Hey, I have this idea for a business. Do you two want to run a business? I'll show you how to do the whole thing." I always wanted to teach them how to run a business. I said, "I'll do the marketing. You guys just sew all the gear. I'll give you all the profits. I just want to have enough money to pay for all the bills and pay for the Dyneema and pay for all the fabric." And they were like, "Yeah, let's do it." So we turned our entire basement into a print shop and a sewing shop, because we were doing the printing here and the sewing. And I stopped printing in our shop, or our photography studio. If they would have told me no that day, they didn't want to do it, we would not have had a company. We just would have moved on, and there would have been no business. So that was 2019.
Jeez.
They said yes. And so they were only doing maybe 30, 40, 50 orders a month because we weren't pushing very hard. That was 2019. Getting into 2020, it's slowly grown, but nothing crazy. We're getting a little bit of attention. I did a couple little podcasts just for fun. I wasn't really trying to promote the business as a big business. It was just, there was work coming our way. We did it. That was pretty much it at the beginning. But then COVID hit, and this was 2020 in March, and they shut our photography studio down. And we were okay financially for a while, but it was like I had all this free time now. I was like, so what am I going to do with my free time? I can't go into businesses and take photos for commercial projects. I can't photograph weddings. I can't do anything. I need some kind of creative outlet. So I just started designing other gear and designing prints and focus on the backpacking business. Still not thinking that was going to be anything big. But the second I put any ounce of effort into it, we were doing something so different than everybody else by custom printing on the gear, not just like a mass produced printed, but like one by one off. Your face is on a food bag, your dog is on a food bag or dry bag, whatever. That took off like wildfire. The second I put any ounce of effort into marketing it, it just took off. And then it has snowballed since then to what it is today. Back then we were getting, again, 30, 40, 50 orders a month. Now we do more than that in a single day. And it's mind boggling to think about that and the progress we've made over the years. And it could have all never happened if my daughters would have said no.
That's crazy.
I almost missed our opportunity. Yep.
Do you think your background in photography has shaped your approach to the way you go about designing, branding, or storytelling? And I say that just because, like, I love taking pictures. I don't like photography. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I don't care about
Sure.
aperture and all that stuff, but with my cell phone, I believe that I take some awesome photos, like at quads and stuff. And when I take a picture, it definitely, a picture tells a story. So I just thought this would be an interesting question, if because you are a photographer.
Yes. So to answer your question, so I purposely separated the two, and here's why. So when I first started Hilltop and really started getting into marketing it, I purposely did not take any professional photos. And I kind of did not want to be a gear company focused on photography, because I could have easily, I could have easily went down that path and just made these hyper awesome photos. But we were in our basement. We were literally sewing out of our basement. Why would I be taking professional photos? And that's what I looked at. I was like, it's my daughters, it's my wife, it's me. Why am I trying to pretend like I'm a big company? You don't support Walmart. Customers don't go out there and go crazy about Walmart. They're not going crazy about REI. I mean, they do, but like, you know what I mean? Like, we're a small company. I want people to know that. And the only way I can do that is get rid of all the professional camera gear. So very early on, we stopped using anything professional and only use our phones. And to this day, we still only use our phones for all of our photo and video. Every product shot on our website, it's a cell phone. Every video we take,
Nice.
it's a cell phone. Only 2 times in the history of HillTop Packs did we use a professional camera. One was a video that we made. It was a Halloween themed video. It was for a steak bag we made, God, 3 or 4 years ago. It was this really overly produced video. We did it kind of on purpose just to show people, hey, we can make a fancy video if you want to. We didn't address it. We didn't talk about why we did it. We just made this overly produced video, put it out there, then we're right back to the cell phones again. And then about 2 months ago, I took pictures with a professional camera I just happened to have with me. I was like, I'm going to just try something different here. And I took the photos as if we were like a lifestyle brand. And we did a whole shoot. And then we posted some of those pictures just one time, then went right back to cell phones. Because I just wanted to kind of throw a curveball in there. And I can tell you that with us, it works if we just do behind the scenes stuff and just show who we are. That content does so much better. And it may not always get the best clicks or get the most shares, but I tell you what it does do is builds the community that we want. People are supporting us because of who we are. And we don't claim to have the best gear. We don't have to claim to have the best prices. We don't claim to have gear that you need. We just want you to want to support us. And that's kind of our whole thing. And if I would use professional photography, that wouldn't have been there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's what suckered me in is you quickly see that you guys are real people, real families, and me as a consumer with my purchase, I'm I have the opportunity to help somebody change, not change their life, but support them. And that goes towards little Johnny's baseball lessons or ballet. It's not a CEO's vacation home. So
Yeah, and I've done podcasts before where, not that the interviewer is combative, that's not what I mean, but like they ask me, like, why? Like, okay, what's your why? Why are you doing this? Why other people can do it? Why are you doing? I'm like, why not? Why can't we do it? Like, I have some awesome people. Why can't they be the ones doing it? So we are doing it. Like, that's such a silly, weird question. And I know they didn't mean it that way, but I took it that way. But yeah, why not us?
absolutely. So we kind of talked about when you started kind of to realize, wow, this is going pretty good. What was that one moment where in your mind you're like, all right, this is actually working, and I believe we built something real. And that wraps up another exciting episode of the Trailblazing Texas podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode today, and stay tuned for our next episode where we will pick back up where we left off and guarantee to uncover many more hiking gems and share many more tips to enhance your experience on the trail. Until then, happy trails and happy hiking.